Good morning. Hi, everybody. This is Kathy. I told you I was going to take a short trip to see family in Florida, and that's where I am. In case these surroundings don't look quite so familiar to you, they're not. It's very warm here, just like it was when I left New York, but New York, from what I understand, has cooled off a bit. Today I'm going to make a Greek salad. I'm not going to go exactly by the recipe because, as with every recipe, you need to make it your own. So I'm going to make it for less people, so I don't need to use quite as many ingredients. But before we get into that, I want to thank you for joining me. Thank you for giving me your time, and if you would, give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you already haven't. The last couple of recipes that I made, one was called a cherry delight. That one was with canned cherries and cream cheese. And when putting it together, I had also used the wafer crust, if you remember that. That actually turned out very nice. I had never done that before. I wasn't sure how that was going to work. It actually worked okay. It was good. The only thing I've usually used is some type of a graham cracker. It kind of worked the same way, but it was very good. The only difference was should have put, according to the recipe, a third of a cup of powdered sugar in with the cream cheese, and I didn't do that. And it was okay. Actually, it probably would have been much sweeter had I done that, and it didn't need to be. And the other recipe before that was a cherry fluff. And that was made with Cool Whip and pineapple and coconut and one small packet of Jello, cherry Jello. Now that, I would not use the whole packet, excuse me, of Jello if I were to do that again. It was way too sweet. It really wasn't refreshing. It was just too sweet. So I just wanted to fill you in on how they worked out. They were both no bake, just refrigerate for a couple of hours after you make them and they're ready. So today, obviously, it's going to be another no bake because it's going to be a Greek salad. I'm going to wash my hands. And then we'll get started. I have a red onion, and that one calls for a small red onion, half of a small red onion. But the red onion I have, as you can see, this is what's left, and it's still pretty big, so it wasn't exactly a small one. Olives, romaine, feta, and I'm using the Athenos brand. That's just my preference. There's lots of different fetas you can use. And then the dressing. If you use your own homemade dressing, you can use actually the same ingredients that they require are almost exactly the same as the ingredients that you would get in a robust Italian dressing from the ingredients that I've seen on the back, and this particular one is Ken's dressing. And that's happens to be the one that we have, so that's what you use. You don't need to go out and buy something special if you have something that works just as well in your refrigerator. And what we'll do is we'll mix some Parmesan cheese, some grated Parmesan cheese into that, and we'll see how that works, but I think it should be fine. And cherry tomatoes, and well, these are actually, it can be cherry tomatoes or grape tomatoes. So again, whatever you have on hand or whatever's the least expensive in the store. So I'm going to get my knife and I'm going to cut up some romaine. liked both of them more so than the field greens. If you get a mixed salad in a restaurant, a lot of the times you don't get either of those. You get the field greens. They seem, sometimes they're bitter, sometimes they aren't, but I just prefer either an iceberg, and my husband only likes iceberg or the romaine. And then I just took a few tomatoes out because I don't know how many I'm going to use. We went to the produce market the other day, and they had the little plastic containers of cherry tomatoes, and one reasonable size plastic container. When the young lady who was waiting at the counter took it out so she could have the container back, it turned out to be a lot of tomatoes. So we'll have to find some more uses for those, which isn't hard to do. Yeah, we're not making this for a lot of people, so it's not going to be a full-size recipe. Again, if you like tomatoes more so than something else, go right ahead and put them in. I'm going to put a couple more in. Yeah, I'm in southern Florida, and I go back to New York on Saturday afternoon. And we've had a mixed bag with the weather. We've had some rain, we've had some nice sunshine, we've had a lot of heat. Last night we got caught in the car, of course, in a huge thunderstorm. Now I'm putting the red onion in. I cut the red onion ahead of time because onions and I usually don't get along that well, and I didn't know how it was going to affect me, so I cut the onion ahead of time. Feta. Who doesn't like feta? I don't think there's too many people. I know I don't. There's not too many cheeses that you can give me that I'll say I didn't like. And this is going to be perfect. Got my garbage in here. Wipe my hands off. Put my olives in. You can put whatever olives in you want also. Usually Kalamata or black olives are the olive of choice. We just don't need the juice, we just want the olives. And then I'm not going to put the dressing on, but I'm going to make up the dressing and put it in a bowl and just refrigerate it. Yeah, this is a nice dressing. Again, I'm not going to use too much. And you don't want it to be too bitter or too sweet, whatever. Now this Parmesan cheese, because it is a grated store brand, you can't get it any smaller. It's grated very, very small. And I got me a fork. Stir that up, see what we got here for the amount of salad that we have. I think I'm going to add just a bit more. This is a nice bigger kitchen to work in than what I have. And everything is nearby so you can reach it. Okay, that's the dressing. I don't know if I said, but I said I was visiting family. It's my sister and brother-in-law. And my brother also lives not too far away with his wife. Get me a proper utensil here. Mix that up, and like I said, I'm not going to dress it now. But see how quick this was and how easy it was. You can use it as a side for anything. If you're eating, cooking outside, hamburger or steak or whatever you, pork chops, whatever you choose to make, this type of salad goes with everything. So, that's going to be probably all that we're going to do today. I don't know if I'll end up doing another one before I go home. Thank you for joining me. Again, if you'll please give me a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already done that. I'd really appreciate that. It helps to grow the channel. Our proverb for today is, too many cooks spoil the broth. Sometimes they're self-explanatory, sometimes they aren't. This one is to me, but not necessarily to everybody else. It just means that you can't have too many people in the kitchen because you can't keep track of what's going on. And if you don't keep track of what's going on and the time that it's going on, you'll spoil whatever it is, whether it's broth or whether you're frying or baking or air frying or toaster oven. Doesn't matter. You need to know what's going on all the time in order to keep on top of it. As you'll see in these channels on YouTube, you don't have two people cooking. Occasionally you have a husband and wife or a couple doing a recipe, but one always steps out of the way while the other's doing the recipe, and that's what you have to do. Okay. Thanks again. I hope I see you again soon. Have a great day and a good rest of your week. Bye now.